What up? It's your boy Anon, and today we are here with my review on K.O.D by J.Cole. Now, after further evaluation, I might make this a two-part video. One where I do my normal review, and one where I just go delve into just something I felt listening to this album. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of falls into stuff that some people already say, but at the same time it doesn't. But I'm going to talk about that in another video. Right now we're just going to get this, make sure this is short, and then go into that second part maybe next week, or if this video gets enough views, maybe I'll drop it in a couple of days. I don't really know. But let's get into it. So we start off the album, like almost every album starts off with the intro. Well, not every album starts off with the intro, but pretty much the first song is always the intro to the album because it's, anyways, and I like it. It's called intro, of course. I like it. I feel like it's very jazzy. And, you know, me being from New Orleans, it kind of resonates with me. You know, I'm from New Orleans, so jazz is kind of something I feel. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling this a little bit. And also listening to it, I noticed it has a Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly vibe. Because To Pimp a Butterfly had like a mixture of multiple genres on one type thing. And this is pretty much an anchor. I won't say anchor. Pretty much something that goes into the second video that I'm going to make. I don't know what I'm saying. But it's nice. Had nice To Pimp a Butterfly feel because To Pimp a Butterfly had like jazz, soul, funk. It had multiple different genres in one album. This all had just a little jazzy thing, and I just got the vibes of some Butterfly on it. I give that a 4 out of 5. It was pretty much just the lady talking, but you know, the mood that it set was pretty good. Next song is K.O.D, the title track. That's what they call it. And I heard the snippet for this. This was one of the snippets that got put on Twitter and probably Instagram. I don't know. Once again, I do not have an Instagram. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it is at AnonIson. I'm going to put it somewhere up here. You know, if you want to follow me on Snapchat, I could put that somewhere up here too. Get the social media going. Follow your boy because I talk about whatever I feel like. You know what I'm saying? I heard the snippet before, but, you know, it wasn't the whole song, so I couldn't really judge the entire song off of them like 30 seconds of the song. But I like the way he flows on the first verse. And I have no problem with J. Cole rapping with no features. I feel like it's a good gimmick. Some people took this and it was like, oh, this album has no features. And J. Cole, of course, brought it up, saying nobody deserves to be on, ain't nobody worthy enough to be on my songs. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a good idea in this era where everybody has features all over the place. Albums having more features than song titles sometimes. I mean, more features than songs sometimes. So I think this is a good thing. I don't think it holds J. Cole back. It sets him apart from the crowd. And it's kind of a cocky type thing. Like, man, ain't nobody even worthy enough to be on the same song with me. So why would I even put this person on the same album with me? You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a good way to shut down the people who say he need features. And he's already proven that he can make a successful album without no features. Forest Hill Drive, though some people might not consider a classic hip hop album overall, it is one of the better J. Cole albums that he's dropped. If in terms of J. Cole himself, that is J. Cole's classic album, 2014 Forest Hill Drive. I think his rhyming and his flowing ability is a lot better than it was before. I've listened to, you know, I've never listened to a full J. Cole album, of course, but I've listened to different songs from J. Cole. I've listened to you know, some songs off Born Center, some songs off of Cold World, some songs off Forest Hill Drive, some songs off of 4 Yards Only. And he's always been a good rapper. But when it comes to his flows and his techniques on this album, I feel like it's a little more technical than it was at different points. But this song, I think, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it was a good song, one of the better songs on the album. Great beat. I think the hook was pretty good. Great verses, you know what I'm saying? It's nice. It introduces you to the vibe that this album is going to kind of have. So, 4.5 out of 5. Song number 3, the next song we get is called Photograph. And I'm not gonna lie, I like this song for multiple reasons. Technically, it's about J. Cole trying to match some chick that he's seen off of Instagram, and I ain't gonna lie, every dude could relate to this song. You know what I'm saying? Every dude done seen a chick on Instagram or on Twitter or on Snapchat and been like, let me hop in her DMs real quick, man. Let me see if I shoot my shot, am I gonna break like he said in the song? Shoot my shot, am I gonna brick or am I gonna, you know what I mean, get that buzzer beater? You know what I'm saying? But you know, I've noticed listening to the song too that he uses that ski mask, the slump guy flow, the flow that he used on Baby Wipe. I can't remember the lyrics, but it's like that one. J. Cole uses that in this song for, I believe it's the bridge of the song where he's like, she could turn water to wine, something like that. Like it's I've noticed it, so I feel like that shows that J. Cole is keeping his ear onto, you know, what's going on, what's popping. He pretty much, this whole album is J. Cole using some more modern flows on some more modern beats, but not swaying away from who he really is, which I think is always good when someone modernizes their music, but always keeps it to themselves. You know, keeps it them, you know what I'm saying? I like how J. Cole starts flowing with the drum pattern. If you listen to it closely, the drum pattern goes with that. The beat goes. That's how the drums go. And J. Cole for the entire second verse, I don't know, maybe he did it for the first verse too. I wasn't paying attention. But the second verse, he keeps that. He rhymes on the beat pattern, which is always amazing to me when a person finds, instead of rhyming with the snare, they rhyme with like a certain instrument. Maybe it's the beat, maybe it's the bass. Like they rhyme with one thing and they follow that. I just like it when rappers do that. If you listen to Like Toy Soldiers by Eminem, listen to the drums on Like Toy Soldiers and listen to how Eminem is rapping with the drums. He's staying on the drums the entire. It's an amazing thing when you listen to it because you're like, this dude is really flowing on the drum beat. Like I just like when people do that. The reason I like this song so much is I can relate. I've fallen in love with a person over a picture as recently as about yesterday. But I give this a 4 out of 5. This album is on a good start for me. So far, it's going to a good start. Ain't nothing wrong with having a couple 4s following each other. 3 songs in, 4.5. I think another 4.5 and a 4 out of 5. That's good. Next song is the Cutoff, and this is the first song that introduces the Kill Edward character. I can kind of relate to this song where it's pretty much you know, feeling used by certain people in your environment and kind of like distance yourself from those people. Like I got my friends, of course, that I always, you know, keep in contact with, that, you know, I look as almost like brothers or whatever. Like, you know, friends that I trust enough with, like I don't have to cut them off. We don't have to talk for months, but I know, you know, that if I was to hit them up or if they would hit me up for something, you know, I got them no matter what, you know what I'm saying? I got those, but you know, there's some people where you just meet and you're like, you know, they looking at you as like, oh yeah, he a friend, where you can't really trust that person because you don't know that person. Like I may work with you, or I may have went to school with you, or we may have connected somehow, but I'm still kind of anxious on it because of, you know, not insecurities, because of just not having trust for somebody, you know what I'm saying? So I could kind of understand with it, but I feel this song has a real kind of depressing sound. When you listen to it, it brings that mood to the song a lot. When Kill Edward gets on there and he's doing his little singing part, which I can't remember right now, but when he does his little singing part, I think this is the song where it's give me drink, give me smoke. That song, I'm pretty sure this is this song. I can't remember because there are multiple Kill Edward parts that I remember, but I can't truly connect them to what song right now. But I think that is this song. And it just sounds very depressing, the way, like, he sounds almost monotone, telling me, give me drink, give me smoke, give me high, let me flow, let me fly. That, like, it's not very energetic. It's more like, you know, doing it out of habit instead of doing it out of love or doing it with any type of emotion. It's almost like feeling like the day or those activities just flow through you without any really truly care. Like just imagine a person just sitting in a chair, you know what I'm saying, and they just getting alcohol and we just thrown at them, but they looking so dead while they're doing all these things. You know, you know what I'm saying? I think that just hearing that and picturing somebody feeling so depressed and so down because they're so dependent on these drugs and dependent on these vices that they can't really feel no emotion because they're just going through it so much that it does nothing for them. So I give this song a 5 out of 5. I know that some people done. I believe it was a CDTV production. Shout out to him. I'm subscribed to him like a lot of his videos. I'm pretty sure he said he not really feeling the K.O.D thing, and that the cutoff was one of his least favorite songs. I can understand the vocals sound kind of weird, and the timing for some of the things sound kind of weird. But I feel the message that is delivered with the voice, with the K.O.D persona or alias or whatever other word that they keep calling it, ego, whatever. I think it fits good for this song. Technically, you know, cutting off your friends, trying to escape the people who you feel are out to hurt you, but while also cutting those people off, it takes you to your vices. You know what I'm saying? It's making you kind of depressed, or it's like, damn, I'm cutting these people off. I feel betrayed and this and that by these friends, these people that I put so much trust in. The only way to deal with this stress that I'm feeling because of the situation is to drink and smoke and get high and just try and escape what's going on from me. But when you're trying to escape them vices so much, but you have to cut so many people off, it becomes almost emotionless. You don't feel stressed from doing it no more, but you still want to get through with them vices because it's just a habit of doing it. It's a crazy thing. I know I'm going too long on this song, and there's still 9 songs left, and we're 12 minutes in. This is crazy. 5, ATM. Once again, I think this has a great flow. In verse 1, and the hook is catchy. With count it up, count it up, count it up, count it. I hope I do not get copyrighted for singing the song. But anyways, and the term "can't take it with you," can't take it when you die, but can't live without it. I think it's a great line. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a line that makes you think. Where it's like, yeah. That's what I put it. People who say you can't take money with you to the grave are those people who most likely never really, who have no value in money because they've never really had money, or they've never really found the importance of money because they've never had money. And then saying that you can't live without it comes from the people who have put value into money and have had money and know what it's like to have money. So it's almost like this one line is taking 2 separate beliefs about money and combining them together. There's the side of people who believe that you can't take with your grave, so you shouldn't put value in money, and then there's the people who feel like you can't live without money and that you should put value in it. I think that's a great structure for just one line. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that song he's basically describing his relationship with money and him really saying he wouldn't be alive without money, because I believe in the verse somewhere he says that he wouldn't be. I forgot what he said. He thanks God that his mom. What did he say? He's glad that his mom didn't have money for the abortion. So he's technically saying that he puts value in money because if his mom had money, he wouldn't exist because his mom would have been able to afford having an abortion with him, which I think was a very deep line. So I give that song a 4.5 out of 5. And the video dropped recently, and I watched the video yesterday, and it looks almost very similar to Give Me Some More by Busta Rhymes, which is one of the classic music videos from back in the day. And I just like how it had that type of feel with it. Because just looking at the intro, the first 30 seconds, I'm like, this reminds me a lot of Busta Rhymes. And I think that was pretty cool, especially when he was in the little straight jacket doing all that. But yeah, I give it 4.5 out of 5. The music video was pretty good. If you haven't, you can check it out. Next song, number 6, Motivate. And it's spelled Motiv and the number 8. Because that's clever, apparently. This is another song about money, pretty much. But I can tell that these are cautionary tales almost. and not, and you could say kind of like satire and not really a brag about money song. I feel like he's taking the perspective of um talking about the importance of money, but also having like almost a subconscious thought of this is not good. You know what I'm saying? You could feel it with how he's describing money and how he feels about money. And then, of course, they have the little voice come in, which J.Cole has done this before, where he's saying, I'm feeling alive. And he sounds dead. You know what I'm saying? He sounds very dry saying, I'm feeling alive, I'm feeling alive, I'm feeling like just the tone of voice can carry or make something seem very different off of listen. If you just listen to the lyrics, then you're gonna think, okay, it's just money. If you just listen to like the beat or whatever, but if you listen to how these things are delivered, how they sound, you can get a message out of it. And I feel using the dryness to say you're feeling alive while talking about money is you actually talking about how you don't feel alive with money. That's just me personally. But I give this song a 3 out of 5. It wasn't my favorite song on the album, but it wasn't bad, which I don't think none of the songs on this album were bad. But, you know, some songs were better than others, which is bound to happen. Kevin's Heart. And I'm pretty sure this is a play on Kevin Hart, of course, because Kevin Hart got caught cheating, or he exposed that he was cheating on his wife, and he apologized, and y'all know how that went. You know what I'm saying? And I think it falls into this because I'm pretty sure this song he's just talking about drugs and sex, but it feels he's talking about it as if he's fornicating or he's cheating or he's in a relationship, a sexual relationship with the drugs that he's addicted to. And, you know, the sex that he's addicted to. And I think when he says Kevin's heart, that is what is in Kevin's heart. This character, Kevin's heart, is just money, drugs, and sex. But it's not a healthy relationship. It's just off of pure satisfaction, almost just like cheating on somebody. You don't love this person that you're cheating on. I mean, that you're cheating with. But you're attracted to them, and they satisfy you at that moment or however often the moments occur. I give this a 3.5 out of 5. Wasn't my favorite song, but I think the concept was pretty good, and I think it was delivered pretty good, of course. But like I said, it's not my favorite song. I feel like after ATM, the album kind of dropped a little bit, just a little bit, in my opinion. Next, we get to brackets. And shout out to Richard Pryor. They had the little Richard Pryor skit at the beginning of the song, which, of course, like it was a skit where he was pretty much saying that I make so much money that I don't even believe how much money I'm making. What he said, if I'll show my dad how much money I was making, he called me a liar or something like that, which was funny. Of course, it's funny. But shout out to Richard Pryor. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest comedians of all time. But the song is technically talking about changing tax brackets and how it just shows him how much money is taken out of people's hard-earned money. You know what I'm saying? He's saying like as a when he was broke and young, taxes, of course, it hurt his pockets, but he doesn't realize when he's rich, when he's a multimillionaire, and how much a percentage of that is taken out, because I believe it's like 30 to 32% is taken out of every time he gets paid. He's wondering, sitting, where is this money going? Where is this? You know, if I'm making $100 million this year and they take 30%, where is that $30 million going right now? You know what I'm saying? Because these schools still ain't built. You know what I'm saying? These students still ain't learning nothing. These classes still ain't got textbooks. You know what I'm saying? Where is this money going? Oh, but homie, this is a story he told, but hey, homie just copped a gun that got made through the tax money that buku people just got. That homie who got that gun took that gun and shot dude. Now that dude mama going to the funeral, having to mourn about her son being killed by a gun that was used by paying taxes. And then when the funeral's over, she realized she got to pay her taxes. I'm kind of probably messed up that story a little bit, but you know, it's true. You know what I'm saying? It's almost a cycle where it's like the tax money is being taken to do these things. And it's not great things sometimes. And those great things only lead up to us having to give that thing that we know isn't good back money without our consent. Like he said, where's the app where we can control where our taxes go to? Because if we had an app that can control where our taxes go to, maybe we wouldn't have dudes getting killed by guns that were created by the money that we get taken out of our checks And the mom at the funeral wondering, dang, now I gotta pay money back to the people who supplied the gun to the man who killed my son. You know what I'm saying? It's a very deep story, and I did not expect this video to be this long. All right, number 9, Once an Addict. This is, I'm trying to remember. I'm doing this a lot off of memory of how the album sounded because my memory is terrible. But I'm pretty sure this was like a skit with a verse in it. I'm pretty sure. Where it's like that woman who was at the beginning was talking, or somebody was talking at the beginning, and then it went into J.Cole rapping. And it's pretty much, I feel like some people may have taken this in a different direction. I've heard people take this song and think that it was about something else. I can't remember what they thought it was about. But I pretty much took this song as him having to deal with his mom, who was addicted to drugs and probably an alcoholic, and realizing that back then he wanted to escape his mom's struggle. He wanted to escape his mom being drunk and being all that. And he decided to go to college, and his mom wound up calling him or something like that. And he was getting tired of her. He was getting tired of having to deal with his mom. But now, years later, he's thinking about it, and he's like, why did I run away from my mom when she was in such a bad position? When she was just in that part of her life, I decided to leave instead of helping her out. That's how I took this. I'm pretty sure his mom isn't addicted to alcohol anymore, or I don't know what's going on with his mom. Maybe she's still alive, maybe she isn't. But it's called Once an Addict. So I'm pretty sure his mom, is doing well, and she's doing good now. So I think that's pretty good. But some people, I'm pretty sure some people took this as J. Cole talking about himself being addicted to something. I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but I remember him technically talking about his mom being addicted to drugs and him technically trying to run away and escape the troubles his mom was bringing him. Only thinking about himself and not about his mom until now. But maybe I'm wrong. But that's how I took this. All right, the next song, Friends, number 10, which I feel like I'm missing something, but maybe not. The beginning rhyme scheme is amazing to me. He's talking about, the song is technically talking about, if you listen to the song, listen to that rhyme scheme and you'll be like, wow, he's flowing. Like I said, the rhyme structure and the rhyme placement is good. I just like, when it comes to rhymes and flows and technicality, when it comes to that, I just like when somebody is putting rhymes in different places, but they don't seem weird. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about drugs, and there's a part where he's talking about how people blame every different thing, maybe from the smallest thing to the biggest thing, to their problems in their life. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember it, but he's like saying blame Trump, blame this person, blame that for the reasons why you need to go to your vices. Pretty much, that's pretty much what this whole thing is about. People having different vices, and there's multiple meanings to K.O.D, which I'm gonna talk about when this is finished. But Till Edward kind of comes in there and brings in that darker tone, like he has done a lot. And of course, some people thought it was somebody else. My dad thought it was somebody else, but it's J. Cole with a pitch alternator thing on it. And I feel Till Edward does a good job of bringing in almost a darker feel of maybe a not so dark subject. So you can feel like maybe this isn't what I think it can be. But this song, I give it 3.5 out of 5. I liked the flow. I think the beat was pretty good. But something about this song, it just wasn't as hard hitting. I feel like the album slowed down a lot after ATM. Some people say that the album was good all through, and I think the album was good all through, but I feel like it hit a peak at one point and it died down a little bit after ATM. That's how I feel personally. Next is Window Pane, which is it's a play on words because window pane is the frame thing of the window, and of course, window pane. I don't know. Eminem said it before, so this song, Cole really just talks about multiple inner city struggles that people go through, and how he feels fortunate that he's not having to go through that, which sounds kind of messed up when you think about it. But I think he kind of comes around with it by saying, I'm glad that I'm fortunate enough to not be in that environment, but have the money to help people who are in that environment. I think it kind of helps it because if you were just like, man, people getting shot, people getting stabbed, people getting robbed. They got little girls seeing their best friends or people getting shot, stabbed, robbed, raped. Anything's going on in the inner city. Just ending it with saying, well, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. That's messed up. But if you say, well, I'm glad that I'm not in that right now, that I'm in a better position that where I can take all the money that I get and help those kids who are dealing with these things. I think that kind of fixes it a little bit, but it's still kind of a messed up message to be like, I'm glad that I'm not in that position anymore. Like, you know, as long as you're like, yeah, because I got millions and millions of dollars that I give to these kids who are in these positions so they can, you know, do this and do that. So I think it kind of comes around, but it was kind of weird at the beginning when I'm listening to it. I'm like, did he just say that he's glad he's fortunate enough he don't have to deal with this right now? But anyway, I give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I feel like the album kind of slowed down a little bit, just a little bit after ATM. Maybe that, but that's, of course, these are my opinions. You could think whatever you want on it. The final song is 1985. I think it's also called Intro to the Fall Off or something like that. And I'm pretty sure he was talking about Lil Pump. I'm not really into whatever Lil Pump and everybody else is talking about or going into right now. But I heard it. I assumed it was about Lil Pump because I knew about the J.Cole song. But then he started saying how we black and, you know, I'm supporting you and I listen to your music and it's not for me, but I can't, you know, not all music is for me. Like, he technically saying the stuff that I say sometimes, like, not all music is for me, but I'll always support people if they make any moves and they do anything. That's something that J. Cole said. Like, it was technically kind of like Logic's yuck towards Joyner Lucas, except it was a little bit more disrespectful. A little bit more. Logic was like, peace, love, and happiness. I wish the best for you, brother. You know what I mean? And, you know, if I wasn't rapping, if I wasn't doing my thing with this rap stuff, maybe me and you would have been cool. But now that I'm rapping and I'm bigger than you and I'm doing better than you, you hating on me. That's what it is. But it's all right, man. I got love for you. That's what Logic was saying. J. Cole's like, man, I ain't feeling what you're doing, but I respect you because you're doing your thing. But eventually, all the stuff gonna catch up to you. And if you ain't being smart with your money, being smart with your lyrics, not making people want to hear what you're saying in the next couple of years, you ain't gonna be new. You're gonna be on love and hip hop in the next couple of years. It's like, it's almost similar. Logic took the, you know, I understand you don't like me or whatever, but I just got love for you. J. Cole took it as, hey, I respect that you're doing your thing, but you got to be smart with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But people kind of took it like, oh, dang, he going in. Like, yeah, he went in, but it wasn't like, smack you, put two, you know, he wasn't doing all that. But it was a nice song. Apparently it's towards Lil Pump and Smoke Perp, even though I feel like he was focused more on one person because he was saying how this person is black. If he would have said, your friend is black and this and that, then I would say, yeah, he's talking about two people. But it seems like he's talking about one specific black person. And Lil Pump isn't black. So I would assume maybe Smoke Perp is the person that he was directing this towards. I don't really know for sure. But I give this song a 4.5 out of 5. I think this is what was the higher point of the down period I feel was going on in this album. So let me go down the ratings just so y'all can see what I was talking about. So y'all know what I mean by having a little down period. Maybe you caught on to it, but I don't remember. So first song, 4 out of 5. Second song, 4.5 out of 5. Third song, 4 out of 5. Fourth song, 5 out of 5. Fifth song, ATM, 4.5 out of 5. Sixth song, gave it a 3 out of 5. Kevin's Heart, 3.5 out of 5. Brackets, 3.5 out of 5. What's this? Once an Addict, 3 out of 5. Window Pane, 3 out of 5. Friends, I believe I gave that a 3 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5. 1985, 4.5 out of 5. So it's like, me personally, I feel like the album dropped just a little bit. It didn't go from like 4.5 to 5. 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. I can't talk. 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, and 5 out of 5. And then dropped to like 2s and 2.5. It dropped to only about 3 and 3.5, but it still had a drop, in my opinion. When I left this album, I felt a little drained for some reason. I listened to this album twice. Once for lyrics to write down my notes on what I wanted to say in the review, and then another just to feel, you know, the album all together once again, and, you know, pick and choose what songs I like when I want to put in my playlist. So far, I got about only 5 songs in my playlist out of the whole album, which isn't bad. That's a little less than half of the songs, which isn't bad. 5 songs I'm willing to, you know, ride around and bump or listen to while I'm at the gym. But it wasn't a bad album at all. I think this is a real good album. Probably depending on how everything else goes, this could be a top 5 album for me, or maybe a top 10 album for me for this year so far. But I'm gonna talk about how I feel this album, what this album is gonna do a little later. Like, I'm gonna talk about why this album isn't gonna work in the next video. All right, that's it for me. I'm out. I know this was kind of long, but there's a lot of things I wanted to delve into, and I'm sorry. Too sweet. Deuces.